I I want to talk about uh, fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies. Actually, I was watching Kaiser Report. I've become addicted to this show, but uh, things are changing so much in the world. Uh, some theory that could be totally correct in a sense, or correct in United States, might fizzle out when you look at the larger world. I mean, Americans are printing all this money and giving it to each other, but the, are they going to become like Weimar state? It's possible, but um, once the Fed comes out with the Fed coin and starts giving it to everybody, then well, we might have some collapse in the value of the dollar. But then, because so many diverse groups of people have access to capital, then it will get spent on stuff that's somebody might have wanted to do for a long time, but they never thought that, hey, I will have a chance to do this. But then when the capital or a larger amount of money become available, then the money will circulate in strange ways. I mean, I think that Americans will all become a bunch of heroin addicts, but uh, well, heroin or illicit drugs are also an industry, and well, the economy will get better, but in ways that we might not want. But uh, then just for the fact that the currency is circulating and so many new industries are springing out, or older industries are getting fed, then uh, the value of the dollar might stabilize, might not totally collapse. This strange thing that might happen is that uh, industries that in the past they were auctioned off to foreign countries. For example, the cloth and loom industry. Uh, it wasn't it wasn't very favored industry. It was very labor intensive. It required heavy machineries and all kinds of stuff. With transportation costs was important. It was also part of it was the agricultural machinery. There was just too many crap in it that many investors wouldn't really want this as an industry, but so they just kind of auctioned it off to the Chinese and the Pakistanis, and now we get all our T-shirts and our pants all from faraway places. But what if like the cost of production, uh, uh, what if it collapsed to a point that the cost of production didn't matter, or what actually mattered was the designers coming up with new design or new kinds of production with like robots, and then suddenly these groups or these people, they found all this money, Fed coins coming in, so they could do their fancy and strange things. Then, in a very strange ways, some of these industries might be back in United States. I think United States will start making many things production again, but it will not be with humans. because the humans will be like injecting heroin. My ultimate model of the future humans, or at least American humans, uh, is this place I used to live in, and actually in the downstairs was a gym, and they were also distributing heroin. Or the members of the gym, they were all heroin addicts. They were all these beautiful blondes. Actually, the reason that I was attracted to this building, because I from the outside I saw all these blondes, and then I also saw that the building was mostly empty. I was wondering what is going. I mean, I think that's the future model of the U.S. population, would be that they would be getting all this cash, and they will all become like either they won't even be meth addicts because they will have all the money to get the good stuff like glass or heroin, and then they will just be shooting it up. There will be no responsibility, no job to go to, and they will just sell some to friends. Like a complete anarchy and chaos, but everybody would be like a millionaire, and all the vices would be all legalized. Well, actually, the last 5-10 years, the problem I've had uh, is that uh, I just won't go there because it's just too offensive. But like people expect uh, that I got this cash. Hey, then I just go in. Every place is like a grocery store. I'll just buy whatever is on the shelf. Like I order and tell the guy, hey, this is what I want. And the guy says, no problem, sir. Where is your credit card? I'll just charge up. Here you go. But then, there are personal boundaries. Like e- everybody does not think that every vice is okay, uh, or that they should be selling themselves off in very obnoxious ways just because somebody's got a credit. well, well, I am Muslim through and through. I have a deep dislike of the U.S. government and also of many Americans. My impression after being here like 40 years is that these people, they are morally defective kind of people, and whatever is very obnoxious will happen here first, and then maybe we'll go other places or not. Uh, well, actually, like in many uh, medical facilities, they'll go buy these guinea pigs or rats from Africa, and they experiment on them. Whatever happens. To me too, as a like a mathematical modeler, I like use whatever I see in United States as if these guys are like my guinea pigs. If I want to make a theory about economics, or or I want to hypothesize about organized crime or criminal nations, you know, the first choice that pops in the mind, there's a lot of population to look at our history, would be Israel and then United States, because they're both totally criminal countries, and all the stuff they have done is very questionable in moral terms. So if you want to study how Well, I mean, how things fall apart? How would they fall apart, and where would they go after that? But if money, if the Fed, if the banks become desperate because they want the economy to move again, and they just resort to ultimate helicopter money, there is no more. There is no more uh, experiment out of this. This is the last experiment. We're just gonna give everybody a bank account in the Fed, and we'll just deposit all these dollar coins or Fed coins in it. Everybody's got all this cash. Then what's gonna happen then? Well, is like yeah, I was watching this movie. I don't know if it was about Al Capone or another gangster, and other gangs were searching for him. They wanted to oust him, so he he was running everywhere. Actually, this was played by a very famous actor. He's dead now, but he was running everywhere. He couldn't find any place that to hide or to save himself. Finally, he found this monastery. This was like a Catholic monks or nuns. He ran into there, and he met the clergy, the bishop, and the bishop asked him, "Well, son, w- w- what are you doing here? What do you want?" And this guy Al Capone, I think it was Al Capone, he said, your, "Father, I need to turn to God. I have come here to dedicate my life to selfless service." So I think that it saved him. It saved him for a while. I don't know. Towards the end of the movie, where the monks were trying to sell the flowers that they have produced. They had truckloads of flowers. And this guy Al Capone came out. And he resorted to the same tactics or ideas, and he sold all the truckloads of flowers. It's a hard commodity to sell. And then he went back to the monastery. Uh, Actually, that's what uh, the Fed will do. Like Fed is like cheerleader for capitalism, make the markets go well. But then at some point, he's going to turn into a complete communist. Uh, I just gonna call this video uh, dawn of true communism, which means that's exactly what's going to be. Well, this kind of communism, it doesn't even need people, because we're going to have all these robots, all these AI, and we just give all this cash and have the robots, our workers, produce all these goods, and we'll be like will be the ultimate the ultimate nice guy, like the Al Capone, just turned into Jesus. Well, I was studying Al Capone's life, and did you know that Al Capone was the first gangster, the first person that opened up soup kitchens, that uh, that help people in the depression era. But I mean, his motivations for opening up soup kitchens and being such a true Christian was not to help people. His true motivation was that if they caught him and he had to go through a jury trial, then the jury in this area that he had the soup kitchen would look with favor on him and think that he's such a philanthropist. I mean, he could have gotten credit with God. I mean, if you're gonna do a soup kitchen, you might as well get credit with the divinity. I think this is the destiny of the Fed is going to become the ultimate communist politburo, and just anybody will have cash. I mean, I was very surprised that even I got stimulus money. That means that like even nemesis, like many senators, they know when they want to see things that are going to really get fucked up, then they turn into web pages or vlogs of people like Hassan Sadr. That means like on the spectrum, you're going way over the other end of the spectrum. You're looking at the works of people who are Muslim, true and true. They're true and tried the communists, or they support the Iranian government. Like this is their the last. Anyhow, but if the Fed comes up with Fed coin and the effects, the after effects of Fed coin combined with technological singularity, robots, AI, and wide distribution of resources and money, then by God's grace, maybe the dollar will not collapse and it will stabilize into something. You know, well, I'm not venturing out and saying that Max Kaiser or Stacy Herbert are wrong. I'm just saying. I'm saying that if Al Capone joined the monks, he did good deeds that the divinity might like. We don't know. God is all powerful, and you don't know what might happen. Well, another thing that I think might happen differently than what Mr. Kaiser predicts. I'm not disputing these two theories. Okay, I'm just speculating on possible future. Is that uh, there might be other institutions like Facebook or Google or other central banks would come up with the currency, and they have many customers and many products to sell or do, and uh, it might be a currency that can hold water, and it might never become like Bitcoin valuable, or become like gold. But hey, rupee is a fiat currency, but it's not totally worthless. It has some value and utility, and millions of people do use it. Um, we'll see. Uh, well, then this brings us to the question of demographics and population. That fiat currency that's very lousy, that's very obnoxious. Like the Fed is just endlessly publishes this thing. But if there is a tremendous number of population out there, or millions of stupid investors think the world of this bogus currency, then I'm not talking about the dollar. Hey, I'm talking about rupee or Facebook money. But, don't get offended, but it might kind of be going through rocky waters, but it might not completely collapse. It will have some value, and it will do some things, and then God knows what might else happen. But I'm going to call this video uh, "Dawn of True Communism," like a catchy kind of title. Well, then another phenomena that is very interesting to note is that outside of this dollar system, outside of this hidden central bank that's manipulating everything and is everywhere, there are places that they are not favored, or this bank is hostile to them, like Iran or North Korea or even China or Iceland. They are not the most favored sons. They are not. We Iranians are not really liked very much in the Western world. We share the same fate with North Koreans, many Chinese, and even Russians. We are like uh, they don't want us. But in our country, our fiat currency like Toman or ruble or even Chinese yuan or North Korean money is not given like candy to the baby. It's You have to work in those countries to make that money. In fact, the government is stingy with with the money, and you have to work. And the money that you make is not so easy to transport or buy stuff outside of Iran or Iceland, and but then it doesn't really matter. For example, when the Icelandic bankers they uh, they stopped printing money, and they had to do their jail time, then the prices of many items in Iceland really collapsed. Housing too. So even though the wages might not be in euro, it might be in their money, and it might not be very much. But then relative to these wages, uh, everything is very cheap, or cheap enough to live. But then because the value of Icelandic or Iranian money relative to the dollar is uh, is very low, then what happens is like how nature abhors the vacuum. Is like all the money and technology is getting sucked into the Iranian system. I mean, well, one Iranian general was saying that actually we don't care if the Saudis or the Emiratis or whoever they're progressing technologically, and they got all this cash because first of all, we are ending up with the best products that we can reverse engineer, and we get the cheapest, cheaper than them, the same technology, and we mass produce. Now we are our own production facility. We are the ones we can sell weapons to anybody, and then the very best weapons. And also we have become exporters. We um, you know we are like a vacuum, and many people in these countries where they just print money, they have no place to put their money where the money will grow. But if they put their money in Russia or in Iran, the money will grow because they, by their militarism, by their stupidity, they have created this enormous vacuum. Well, I was reading Iranian newspapers that Iran has constructed all these gas stations, huge pumping stations, all along Pakistani border, all along Afghanistan border, and many uh, tankers, small or large, or even cars that have been modified to become tankers. They come in by the border. They they load up with cheap Iranian gasoline, and they transport it into Afghanistan, into into Pakistan, into uh, anywhere, and then well, that's the vacuum. That's a huge vacuum. It's sucking up all the capital from everywhere. But I don't know. I think these are some anomalies that don't fit in that model of that the Kaiser report says that well, these guys, they're all printing money, and the money is going here. And well, another thing that's very interesting is that they found out several years ago that there is this one of these islands. I forgot the name, Dominican Republic, or one of these little country, no consequence. But they had these banks, and they had like trillions of dollars from United States, from different countries, and they were storing all this debt that the foreigners have because they don't charge as much taxes. Well, that's a big vacuum. I don't know. Iran should make such a vacuum. We should like make a free trade zone inside the like, we have all these huge deserts, uh, Kavir Lut, and then we just in the absolute middle of nowhere, like there's nothing there. There is rattlesnakes, and there is a copper mine in about like 100 miles from where these little villages, and then we'll make a airline airport, Iranian airline, or like some German airline can go there, and we'll make these massive building banks, uh, underground vaults that all these desperate people that are the victims of Fed and ECB, they can hold their cash in there. I mean, this is a project. Why we shouldn't do that? But we'll see. Uh, I think there is hope for for cryptocurrencies, even cryptocurrencies that are not as secure Bitcoin. Well, I think other cryptocurrencies or the new ones they're gonna do great because there's all this production of credit. They many countries they want to indebt themselves even more, but doing very strange things uh, might have some positive consequences that the standard of living in many countries will go up, maybe even in United States too, because the money is circulating after a very long time. But then our government or our economic system will be really just communism. Thank you very much for being my YouTube channel. And when I was in college, something funny kept happening, and uh, I knew nothing about capitalism or socialism. I was studying engineering. Every once in a while, I get into argument with some of the teachers, and some of these they come in and accuse me of being a socialist or a communist. You I think many people have psychic powers they see in the future. You are. Thank you. Take it easy.